This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock.
Hello, and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today, in the arena, a deck so evil, I had to, make a little CGB hawk to play it. Guys, some people like to win fast, but others are not in a hurry. They like to win slowly. And this channel often includes decks that win slowly, but nothing quite like this. Sultai. It's another Emergent Ultimatum deck, right? That's what it is? It's just a Sultai Emergent Ultimatum deck? No. No, it is not. It has a 7-mana sorcery, but it's Seagate Restoration, not Emergent Ultimatum. What is this deck? Can you spot the win con? I mean, obviously there's a beautiful, exquisite curve and a nice array of lands and a good amount of lessons, but can you spot the win con? How does the deck actually win? And, well, it can attack the opponent to death with Yorion. There is a mascot exhibition in the sideboard. These are things that can create creatures and attack opponents, but usually the deck wins through sheer frustration by not letting the opponent do anything at all that they want to do. And when we've identified their weakness, when we've identified where they're vulnerable, the thing they hate the most, is it Test of Talents on their ultimatums? Is it Essence Scatter on their creatures? Is it Go Blank, exiling their graveyard and hitting their hand? Is it bouncing and casting Yorion and Binding of the Old Gods over and over with cards like Divide by Zero to absolutely eliminate all their permanents? Whatever it is that we discover that they hate the most, we do it, and we do it infinite. Until the end of time. There's no time limit in best of one, so I got all day. Quandrix Command. Target player shuffles up to 3 target cards from their graveyard into their library. While this can sometimes be used to put a Kroxa back in the opponent's deck so you don't have to deal with it, this card has the primary use of either countering the opponent's enchantments or artifacts, saving Yorion from removal, or countering, bouncing their creatures and planeswalkers, and shuffling our best cards in the matchup back into the deck. So we can just keep on bringing back Go Blank if we want to hit their hand. We keep on bringing back Binding the Old Gods. But to make sure that we have all the tools whenever we need them, usually it's Seagate Restoration that gets the job done. This little land has gotten... People get to know this a bit. I remember when it came out, they said it was the worst of this cycle of Mythic lands that also had a spell attached. And then people started using it with Emergent Ultimatum, and that was pretty cool. Here, we just want to cast the thing, and then we want to cast the thing again. Because what we're going to do is draw most of our deck so that we only have 10 cards left. And then we're just going to keep looping 2 or 3 Quandrix commands and, say, a counterspell and a removal spell, something that really tears the opponent to shreds. And we're just going to do that the rest of the game. We're never going to deck because we just keep shuffling cards back in. The opponent's never going to stop us because we're going to just keep stacking our hand with counterspells. It's nasty. Toxic? Toxic might be a good word. I'm sure there are some other words that you can think of, some very flavorful, colorful words. And in order to get us there, we have a lot of removal, card draw, counter spells here and there. We also have a lot of sweepers, 4 copies of Extinction Event, 3 copies of Shadow's Verdict, and we have Solve the Equation, which can go fetch either one of those for 3 mana so that you curve right into it. Solve the Equation also helps us find the counter spell that hits the hardest, whether it's Test of Talents, Negate, Essence Scatter, Disdainful Stroke, or Neutralize. And Divide by Zero helps us recycle basically everything in the deck, from Binding the Old Gods, Yorion, the Maze Mind Tomes we can recycle with this, the Omen of the Sea. We can also bounce the opponent's things, and we can access Mascot Exhibition, because if we want to kill our opponent, we can cast this and then shuffle it back in with Command because it's a spell, and cast it again and shuffle it back in and cast it again until they finally freaking die. The deck has an insane amount of land to cast an insane amount of expensive spells and never miss a land drop, so we're always moving forward. But 4 of them are Jwari Disruptions and Seagate and another 4 are Seagate Restoration. So we get to hide counter spells and card draw in our mana base, which is one of the things that I love about the deck the most. It always makes me feel a tiny bit +1 IQ when I can hide something so critical to the deck as a land. So this deck is nasty. It's straight up mean. They're gonna hate it. Let's dive in. Let the Sultai torture begin. Sir Reginald, are you ready to do battle? We will keep this hand. It doesn't do anything on turn 2, but it's a banger. So I would keep an untapped land. I'd also keep a Maze Mind Tome or an Omen. I'd also keep a Jwari. So like any kind of a 2-drop or an untapped land with this Scry. We might even cycle this just to make sure that we curve out to the best of our ability. Bingo. Untapped land. Small thing, but this neutralize holding priority to cycle is actually pretty cool. The opponent doesn't know we have nothing we can cast. Alright, I've got to deal with dragons. We'll deal with dragons, it's fine. Let's just buy the Yorion. They're not going to do anything this turn cycle. Nothing interesting. I mean, I guess they could play this giant. If they do, I'm going to bind it. Let's see what they do. Okay. There's only one way to rock over here. So, turn 4. I mean, if they play Galazeth Prismari, I can Yori in the binding. So, not a lot achieved here. I guess they could counter the Yorion if they want to. That's a good question. Do we want them to counter the Yorion? If they counter the Yorion, then play the dragon, we're feeling really bad, so let's not. We'll just let it go. We got time. We've got lots of time. The opponent thinks our deck is Emergent Ultimatum, right? So they think it's full of big, expensive clunkers. But it's secretly not. It's secretly full of, like, lots of reactive spells. So their dragons are going to have a hard time getting through. So we could use the Divide by 0. We could bounce the Binding and have it for later. Some solid value there. They have more cards in hand than us? Let's go for it. They might negate this. But then they're tapped out. So, they're probably scared. They're like, that's a sorcery speed card. We'll play around that. It's like, I know they're not going to play anything. They'd just get bound. So, that's not happening. All right. Teachings, draw 2. Might have to discard, but that's okay. I've got an extinction event I'm not using. Wow. That's fine. Okay, they countered my lesson. That's just fine with me. I was going to have to discard something anyway. That's a great deal. Bone Crushers. Okay. So they're going to counter a binding? Let's find out. Bang. So they might be trying to force a dragon through by having counter and dragon the same turn. I think even if they do that, we're going to be able to double spell the next turn, so they would have to have a perfect hand to keep their dragon alive. They might also just be planning to cast Alrund's Epiphanies for the next however long. Okay, go get more land. And more land. We can go for the Yorion here. If the opponent counters it, all we lose is nothing, but I mean, with another binding, there's no good reason to go for it. The opponent doesn't know we have bindings for days. They think that waiting out this one binding waits out the Yorion. Also, if they cast the Epiphany, we'll just let it resolve. They're not doing much with their turn. Okay, I would love more counter spells. I would also love Seagate Restoration. Something to really, really hit them. Maze Mind Tome would be nice too. The good book of Tome. Brazen Bee. Sure. Kill it in their draw step. Before that, well, in their upkeep, before they draw their card. I knew I was going to kill it anyway. No reason to take damage and try to look smart. All right. It's enough mana. There is the good book of Maze Mind Tome. It is a page turner. There's a nice omen, but let's go right after that tome. They saw it coming. Okay. Again. I love that they tried to defend the tome. Let's see if they try to defend the tome again. All right. Yeah, getting rid of their tome and also getting a counterspell feels real good. They didn't expect the third binding. Iteration, it's a good card. One of the good things when they think you're Emergent Ultimatum is they honestly spend the whole game believing they have to save a counter for Emergent Ultimatum. If they don't, they'll lose. So that is a really fun kind of dance to be a part of. Take the tome. Verdict is pretty dead. Yorion. If they're playing the version that the pros have been playing lately, it has like 3 Saw It Comings and 2 Mystical Disputes. Up to 3 Mystical Disputes. And again, they always think that they have to save a counterspell. Let's go for Tome. Of course, Prismari Command can be a pain for our tomes. Soul Shatter is really good against them for the dragons. And we're a little low on mana, so we have to be careful this turn. Our opponent does threaten to take a lot of turns in a row at some point, and we have to be able to survive. Another tome, okay. No problem. Galazeth Prismari. That is a pretty decent one as well. I want to save the Soul Shatter for the Goldspan Dragon. And this is even, so Extinction Event makes some sense here, because we get to keep Yorion. Divide by 0. Search another forest. It's the last one in the deck. So we can bounce the binding and try to binding the Prismari. That's always kind of fun. We can also get Containment Breach for their tome. That's a lot of mana. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'd still have 5 more. The Joys of Ramping. We could also bounce the Yorion and try to flicker everything, but I don't know. Maybe that's not right. I don't know. That's a pretty cool play. It's 1 mana more, so it leaves us without the mana to activate Tome and cast Neutralize. Yeah, they're pulling out the rope for this. They're like, but I'm going to get ultimatumed. I'm definitely going to get ultimatumed. All right, they're going to try to counter it. All right. Let's... do we fight? I think we just let that go. It was a cool play, but we don't need it. We'll go even. We'll hold back the Yorion. They want to attack us with the dragon. Let's put some stops on our main. If we draw another divide by 0, we might still be able to bounce this binding. Draw. Death Touch Yorion. Power creep is real. And another tome. And no attacks, just be a wall for that Goldspan Dragon. What I really want to find is Test of Talents to use on Alrund's Epiphany. Let's see if we can do that. Heartless Act. Another land. Should we scry this omen? Let's wait. Still might have a lot of use as an omen. Nice little patch of mana here that we've come into. Frostbite the Orion, okay. Gonna do it again? Sure. Faceless Haven. I tap 5 mana. I cast Goldspan Dragon. Alright. It is the counterable thing. But do we fight over the Soul Shatter or the dragon itself? Let's fight over the Soul Shatter. Dragon, I've got your number. Nom. Tome up. Okay, it's getting a little bit crazy. Where's the goods? All right, there's some goods. The binding's medium, but I guess we always keep Omen. Also, 2 to the top sends a message that we have lots more counterspells to go. We could Field of Ruin the Faceless Haven, but let's just wait. Especially while we have cards we like on top of our deck. We'll wait till they actually try to charge it up and do something with it. Right now, it's not a threat to us. All right, they have spent their tome. Another tome, sure. Why not? The binding needed something. Omen again. Come on. The commands, the divides. There you go. Don't need you anymore, I don't think. Bit too expensive. Could have used this to counter a tome, but oh well. Binding? They never expect the 4th binding. And they're too afraid to defend their tome. Nice. They should be afraid. I'm going to do actual nothing for the foreseeable ever. Goldspan Dragon. See, this bounces creatures. Do we counter it? Yeah, let's fight the counter fight. The treasures don't matter too much now, so the removal spells will be fine. But I want to see what they do. And the nothing continues? All right. We will continue the nothing. Where's my Seagate Restoration, though? Where's my ultimatum? Alright, sack this. Scry it up. Another Kawandrik's Command. Don't need it right now. I think we've seen their tomes. So we'll double bottom here. Okay. Okay, deck. If you insist. Full grip. Doesn't do much, but their deck does have to attack us with creatures to win. So not doing much is fine. And eventually we'll find Seagate Restoration. It's buried very deep. There are 4 of them. And eventually the whole list will pop off. Go ahead, enter combat. Let's go. All right, how are you on basics? I've got one. All right, you've still got one. All right, and now we're passage cracking too. I have no intention of countering Epiphany. I'll deal with these birds in due time. They're not going to bother me much. When it wants to cast a Brazen Borrower. Okay. Let's see what they do before combat on their next turn. They might play a dragon, which is what we actually want to cast Heartless Act on. All right, Expressive Iteration. They find a Bone Crusher Giant they want to cast. They're going to cast Goldspan Dragoon. Okay. All things that Extinction Event could solve, but we have to be careful. Because if we plan to hit them with Extinction Event and they cast another Allrun's Epiphany, it's not going to be good for us. All right, Dragon down. Let's return and get some stuff back. So, what do we want back the most? Yorion. We don't have anything that we're doing with Yorion just yet. The Neutralize for sure. I'll take the Field of Ruin. I guess they don't have... Let's grab the Soul Shatter, because I don't think they can really beat that. Let's grab the Divide by 0. And that takes the sting out of their attack here. If they cast another Epiphany, they're just untapping with a bunch of birds. Yep. Are they also going to throw down a Borrower? They're going to throw out the Giant. Okay. So, the next question will be, do they have another Epiphany? I think I can take a bump and find out. What is this, 8? Yeah, we can take a bump and find out. We take 2 bouncing this anyway, and then they cast the Stomp side again. All right, they cast Prismari. It's fine. Let's see what I mean, we could use the Heartless Act here. Let's also put these stops in case we draw Divide. Yeah, let's go for a... Actually, it's instant speed. Let's hold it. Quandrix Command. Quandrix Command can bounce Prismari. It keeps making treasures, but at this point I don't think mana is the issue. Let's go for the Verdict. Stroke. Okay. They're trying to defend their board now, which is kind of exactly where we want them to be. We'll go with even. And now they'll flash in the Borrower. Do we lose to another Epiphany? Pretty much. I guess we can Heartless Act or bounce something, though. So, yeah, we'll hold up from here. So they run a Disdainful Stroke. Down to 9. Allrons? No Allrons. So good hold. Name odd. That's it? They don't want to go no more? I guess they ran out of gas. Those 2 cards must be frostbites. Yep. I guess maybe they put together our win con, the Quandrix Commandals. Our draw is on the draw. We do have a turn 2 Jwari, turn 3 Divide, turn 4 Event. So pretty good against aggro. Of course, aggro these days is very good at making things go wrong. And we do have tapped lands. All right, Bounty doesn't hit the hardest. Go blank is awkward. Let's keep that. That hits much harder. That's a good one. Oops. No. Don't auto pass this turn. Idyllic Grange, huh? We've got to counter that. The Elite Spellbinder must go. Could use an untapped land. It's not quite it. I guess I'm taking 3 here, but I think it's worth it. Trying to think if we hold up Divide. I think we go blank. All right, you get 1 card left. Don't make it Elite Spellbinder number 2, and I think we're okay. Nothing. Didn't even use this. So what has Flash? Containment Priest? Like, what are you doing? That you don't even use your mana in mono white. That's throwing me for a loop. There's an oops. I'm tempted to try to divide something now. I think we still just go for the event, but it's going to be awkward if... I guess when I untap, I can divide a thing and then neutralize it the following turn. Okay. Okay, that is your flash threat. Sigrid, God Favored, into Heliod. Okay. Funky. That is not good in the matchup, but a great thing to scry to the bottom. Let's hold. See what the opponent tries to play. You use the lifelink ability. In that case, we'll divide you by 0. And go get... Let's go straight to the top rope. A whole bunch of mascots can really help shore up the board against a mono white deck stuck on 3 lands. Opponent does nothing. Pretty good idea. Let's send out the mascots. We got to watch out for the Sigrid. Okay, you're going to flash that in. And I got some critters on the board. What can you do about it? Skyclave Apparition, no targets. Powers up Heliod. Sure. If Sigrid gets in there, we'll kill it, so that doesn't make sense. Let's jump with the 3-2. This still has flying in case of a Sky Maul. And they have the same, like all these things kill it. Binding, nice. That is a draw we wanted. I don't know if killing Sigrid's right there because it's legendary. Depends how many our opponent wants to run. And we'll just not attack. Attacking. Why? But why? Wow, manual taps. Seasoned Hollowblade. Let's get this spent. That card will be annoying. Fine Forest. Good game. You're gonna leave? You're gonna leave? All right, let's turn these creatures sideways. Yorian's coming out to play. Let's hold this in case we draw Seagate Restoration. Fight is won. Oh, game on. Let's go. Defend that apparition. Luminarch Aspirant puts a counter on it, but it cannot attack. Well, it can attack. Ill-advised. Hiya! Divide by 0. Let's go get... I mean, they have a lot of things that this can hit. This can deal with the Heliod, but gives them a card. I'll just get this. Yorian. Destroy this. And because they might have fight a 1 on their upkeep, we'll go after the Aspirant. Make them spend mana on that turn cycle, since the buff doesn't really matter. Normally with a card like Fight is 1, you wouldn't want to do it on their turn because they get the buff, but here it doesn't get them through the creatures. Flexing their mana. Okay. Let's go grab one of you. So, how do we lose this game? If we attack, if the opponent plays like Blade Historian, we could just die. So I think we send these two. I don't think they can kill us through a blocker. And this potentially puts them on the clock for next turn. So down to 5. Pass. We did what we needed to do, but we drew a lot of land, and the opponent's kind of still in it. All right, that can put a counter on the Hollowblade, which we don't have to block here. But if we do, the opponent discards. Then we Containment Breach this. Are we going to Shadow... What we have to know... Oh, they're just dead. What am I doing? They're just dead. Sorry, attacking's hard, guys. Shows the Blade Historian. Don't forget that Death Touch. That Death Touch is coming. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, it's indestructible. Priority is passed. Victory. We fight an antelope. I have fought antelopes before. Will this time be different? Draw on the plate, his hand is sweet. But what do we name? Man, pathway choices are hard. Okay. Pathway versus pathway. Wish I could remember what the antelope plays when I play the antelope. Red green, Jundies. Okay, Jund Gamer coming through. Soul Shatter negate. I don't know. It's super awkward when there's only one negate in the deck. The Shatter, I think, is good. I guess I'll keep the negate as well. Divide by Zero might be bouncing Omen to get Sciences. But that's not bad. I like that play. Do we negate that? Let's negate that. Nice. So I'm playing you tapped. Come on, land. We got so many. Let's draw them. The longboat. You love to see it. What nonsense is this? Hit land drop. Let's get another black. Sika's Chariot is probably on the menu, and that is a Jwari target, but the opponent's not going for it. So maybe it's not on the menu. There's the land. Is that all we really want in this life? Is that all that we really want? Can we lose if we just take a lot of land? I don't think so. Not if they rely on creatures to win, which they probably do. We'll buy the Mighty Yorion, get ready for the Omen. There's white mana for the opponent. Redain. It's an obnoxious card you got there. We need another green. Let's grab another black. Soul Shatter that Redain. Out of there. Do not like it. No, sir. I'll take 3, though. Field of Ruin. Fun. Yorion! No. Yes. Winota. Okay. Do we want to let a creature come out? I don't think so. I think we just kill this. But that's why we kept the Heartless Act. Would you still like to attack? I mean, it's an option. Not saying it's a good one. Okay, I said, can we lose if we take a lot of lands? Didn't anticipate the draws to quite go this way. They must have a lot of small creatures if they're a Winota deck, so they have to play them at some point. So these Verdicts and Extinction events are going to be live. It's just about patience and getting there. Okay. Could have Jwari'd that, but I like Extinction Event for it. This is a really risky attack. Like, this is gutsy, because if I kill the Historian in combat, you lose your boat. All right. Gutsy it is. Not scrying with the Omens, because I still might draw Quandrix Command or Divide to use Yorion to get more value out of them. Okay, Winota's coming. We're out of blue? That's not good. But we might find a Heartless Act. Event. I guess I'll keep that. Probably be something even. I'll probably take a Blade Historian. But a Kenrith would be very painful indeed. Double Winota. Okay. Cool. Well, that boat's about to die. It couldn't go on like this forever, funeral longboat. Now the funeral is yours. So we don't want to activate field. De-thins us, even though we're going to keep drawing land anyway, right? Okay. Even. All right. Hasty stuff? I don't see it. Let's start hitting. It's time to sack these omens too. Enough is enough, and it's time for a change. Spellbinder. Well, they know to play around Jwari now. But sometimes the threat of it still gets them to make bad plays. Or at least plays they don't want to make. Bad might be the wrong term. All right, a little bit of card advantage. Let's go. Few more turns. I know, using Yorion as the win con when I'm supposed to be Quandrix commanding them to death. But you gotta be able to stop a Yorion. Come on now. It's just a little 4/5. You gotta be able to stop a Yorion. Okay, well, they're playing into the Verdict, because I can still... Unless I have a Drannith Magistrate, I can still cast the Verdict, so... What you gonna do? When Yorion Mania runs wild on you. Just a nice little 5-turn clock. No biggie. Alright, Blade Historian also here. Played around the Jwari. Let's see what we draw. Heartless Act. I guess we can save that for their turn. Put them on the clock. Nice. Gets the Cobra, so we don't have to use our last Heartless Act. So now we can still kill like a Kenrith or something like that. Reach. And the shooting gallery is complete. The Yorion finishes the job. Ah, killed so many Winota creatures. Feels so good. Look who it is. Yet another rematch. Gyruda. Okay. Gyruda. I don't know, man. I don't know what that means. I don't know what this is. Let's fight. Event. They'll only have even creatures, but I don't know if beating the creatures is what this is about. I think there are more events too. No, let's keep it. Let's keep it. I don't know if they're I don't know if he's actually going to be able to get combo off or anything like that. Let's get the tome on the field. Start scrying away things we don't need, like Shadow's Verdicts. Okay, an inspired start to the game. Lands are good. I would love some counter spells. Quandrix Cultivator. Setting up for a Gyruda. Let's go with Omen. There's a green source. So we can bind. Yeah, let's take both. But if we bind, we take down the Heartless Act shield. And there might be a case of like Gyruda into Thassa, target Gyruda, and then we want to kill Gyruda in response. But if the plan is just to make a bunch of big things, we extinction event them and we're probably fine. Let's pass. We also have to be careful about using too many restoration, it says lands, since it's sort of our way to be way ahead. Let's see what they do. You're not going to get any creatures out of me. Thassa's Oracle, okay. It's a go all the way win con type thing. Vandal, target, Tome, probably. Omen. We could sacrifice it to Scry. This is going to exile it. That's fine. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. I'll draw. Nice. Could have drawn first. But I'm okay with this. I think I'm okay with this. If there's another Gyruda... Gets dicey, right? What if we wait another turn? What if we take this hit? If we take 10 and let the opponent untap, they could run counters of their own. It would be very bad. Okay. Even it is. Play one of these tapped. Pass turn. Try to hold on to the last one. Yep, there is a backup Gyruda. Let's see how deep this goes. Massacre Worm. All right. All right. Opponent could also blow up this tome. What are you going to do, HGG? What are you going to do? You're not going to get anything in my graveyard. Yeah, you better get the fatty. A little bit of scry action. We'll keep the land. Let's cast Seagate Restoration soon. So how many Gyrudas can you draw? Let's play Binding. Let's bind away the worm, I think. You can keep the Gyruda. That way, if you play another one, you legend rule it. There's probably just going to be a lot of big angry monsters trying to attack me. Yep, down to 11. Also curious if you run Negate, Disdainful Stroke, things like that to protect Gyruda. We're on Sultai. I see removal. Okay, the real question is, if I stabilize, how much does Hello Good Game want watch time on my channel? Because we could be at this for a while. I can just kill that with a Heartless Act, right? Let's use the stroke. How many big monsters could you have? Go get the Triumph. Next turn we can restore. So maybe we want to hold and draw. Come here, Yorion. Pass turn. Really need to hit this restoration hard. Maybe we should also put stops down in case we draw divide by 0. I think I take this. In case it's like a way to blink or copy Gyruda, right? We want to be able to blow that out with the Heartless Act. Cultivator, okay. We have 4 life in the bag from Tome, so I think it's a safe thing to take that hit. This also sends a message that we have a counter spell. Okay, makes a 2/2. Woof. Like, waiting till end step like this sends a message that we have a counter spell because we didn't use this during our turn. Nice. So, do we try to stabilize with the Extinction event and draw some more cards? Or do we go big, let Gyruda do its thing, and then event? I think we go big. This will disguise priority. We could play the Tome there, but I want HGG thinking. If there was N-Rays Forerunners still in the format, that play would be terrible. But here, I don't see how HGG just wins this from this spot. I think we get another turn either way. Those are some heavy hitters. This deck must love fighting aggro. But I am not that aggro mage. Down to 4. Gyruda number 3, you maniac. Let's see how far you can take it. Quandrix Cultivator. We hit a Divide by 0, a Soul Shatter, and our Field of Ruin. Alright. That Extinction event is looking beautiful. Quandrix Command. Even. Ugh. And that is an Extinction event if I've ever seen one. Go blank. Discard 2 cards, exile all cards from the graveyard. Are we blank now? Blood on the snow. Rude. Rude on my part, but we do what we must. How much do you want to fight? How much fight do you have in you? I hope you draw a card that keeps you hanging on. Greg, is that your real name? Is that rude? It's probably rude. I don't want him calling me Dan. All right, counter that. And shuffle back in the Stroke, the Divide, and a Restoration. And let the bleed begin. Of course, I don't know. Are there still draws that you get you back in it? You have 27 cards. You spent 3 Gyrudas. Solve the equation. Nice. Let's do it. Let's do it. Oh, now it's coming together. The coil is tightening. 2 cards versus full hand. I wonder if he's either streaming or recording. Nice. Yeah. Thank you. Let's get the cheeky thanks in there, can we? Just come on. There it is. Congrats on Mythic, my friend. But not today. Not over me. And we are back for the post-game wrap and another easy 4-0 running a nasty, grindy, take advantage of all those aggro decks Yorion pile. It's beautiful. It's a wonderful feeling. It's exactly where I like to be in Magic. So to everybody out there who wants to say that I spam too much Yorion, what I've got to say to you is I'm having fun playing Magic. That alone is an accomplishment sometimes. When the weather outside is beautiful on a nice weekend June day like today, if I can have some fun making these videos, if it doesn't turn into work, that is an achievement. That goes down as a win, and I have a good time playing these decks, so you should expect to see more of them. Also, I tweeted it on Twitter, but this is interesting. They have announced that if you are qualified for the Mythic qualifier, right there, qualified, because I finished in the top 1200 last month, it's going to be the same tournament that you're qualifying for in June and July, which means if I top 1200 this month, I don't actually get anything special for it. There is no different tournament that I get to enter. Same thing with July. I'm basically qualified for the next 3 months with no tournament to play in until August. So I have to decide if I want to try to stay in high Mythic. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say nobody cares where you're ranked in Mythic, dude. Just play jank, just play nonsense. I'll peek behind the curtain because you're really cool. You stayed to listen to me rant here at the end. You stayed for the outro rant, so you are definitely cool. So you get the peek behind the curtain. Yes, they do. No matter what you personally think about ranked, people frickin' care. Every single metric that I measure since I've been making videos has showed me that people really, really like Mythic ranked content. And whether or not you know it, when you tune into a video and you click and you look in the corner to see what color the diamond is, you immediately form an opinion about the content you're going to see and the quality of it. A lot of you do. Now, some people are immune to that. I used kind of an everybody term there. I know that's not true. Some people are completely immune to this, but a vast majority, like a lot, immediately form an opinion about the content they're going to watch based on the diamond and the number in the corner. And that little moment, that little subliminal moment can grab or lose a portion of the audience right there. So I'll probably continue to play ranked, but man, it's weird to not have a goal associated with it or something I can point at. So in order to keep the fun, I'm probably just going to play what I like to play and not worry so much about hitting a perfect deck variety or absolutely clobbering the meta. And I'm just going to probably try to build a lot of spicy Yorion piles, quite honest, in control decks. I'm also might try building a version of each Yorion deck that I play that without Yorion and share that as well. So it doesn't feel as much like a different deck, but if you hate Sky Noodles because you're just a sad, lonely person, okay, yeah, maybe I'll play a version without Yorion, but no promises. Because God knows I love the Sky Noodle. So today I couldn't access Patreon, and there's something wrong with the YouTube memberships thing, which is kind of weird. That's both happening on the same day. Weird internet stuff going on. Just ask Hello Good Game. And I'll just say a blanket thank you to all of my $9.99 patrons. I owe many of you a video dedication with your name on it. Kind of weird that I can't do that today because Patreon is down for me for some reason. But in general, to all my supporters, a big thank you. I appreciate it. To those who can't afford to support the content, but in spirit would like to, watching the content does support the content. It means a lot to me, and thank you very, very much. You stayed till the end of this somewhat toxic video. This win-conless deck. This absolute torture, and these CGB insights into the human psyche and what Mythic rank means to it. You stayed till the end. Thank you very much for that. what I can give back to you right here, right now, I can look you right in the eyes and remind you, yes, you're cool.